Hey, it's Bits from the Past Gaming. I am here for a new video, and this video is about Too Many Games video game convention in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, or the outskirts of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in Oaks, Pennsylvania. It's kind of between Philly and King of Prussia, but anyway, awesome video game convention. It's the first one I've been to, and I was not disappointed at all. They had so much stuff in there. It was like a retro gamer's paradise. They had a video game section where they had arcade cabinets you could play for free. A lot of cool arcade games. A lot of people were in there playing. I didn't get a chance to play any, but I did take a walk around and took a look at all the arcade games, and just really sweet. And then we hit the show floor for most of the day, just browsing through thousands upon thousands of games, trying to find games that we like and want to pick up. I went with my brother and his friend from work, and we had a blast there. So this was the show guide. So they gave this to everyone who bought a ticket. It just goes over, all the stuff that's going on during Too Many Games. It tells you the guests, the panels, gives you floor layout, tells you all the panels and information about that. And then it tells you the guests. They had a lot of YouTube, video game YouTube celebrities there. Pat the NES Punk was there. The Game Chasers were there. And some other people. I can't remember off the top of my head, but a lot of fan favorites, which is awesome. It's good to see that there's as much love for retro gaming and game collecting as there is. Means it's going to keep going, and definitely a gamer's paradise. So it's just pretty sweet. And then they have a celebrity profile in the back here, and it says it's just talking about one of the main YouTube guys, stuff like that. They also had concerts and after parties, and you could do meet and greet. They also had signings, autographs. I actually met and talked with Pat the NES Punk, so that was pretty cool. And he was selling his huge Nintendo book, which was pretty sweet. My friend picked one up, or my brother's friend picked one up, and it was really nice, really nicely done. If you're into Nintendo, highly recommend picking that book up. It's pretty cool looking. So I'll get to the pickups, and I got a lot of games. I think I counted, well, I don't know, because I picked up other games over the weekend through trades and people from online, but I definitely got probably around 15 games at Too Many Games, and most of them are heavy hitters. So my wallet definitely doesn't like me right now. There's also a couple cheap games in here, but I'll explain those. So first, we have WWF No Mercy. Some say it's the best wrestling game for the 360, and one of the best wrestling, or not 360, the N64, and one of the best wrestling games ever made. I honestly don't remember this one. I remember Wrestlemania 2000, which is really fun, and I was just playing it the other day. Nothing like doing a Stone Cold Stunner or a People's Elbow on that game. Really fun. And then I had to pick this one up because I didn't have that. I have the WCW, WWF Revenge, but I never got the No Mercy, so I can't wait to play that. Probably play that tomorrow. I'll give it a try. Alright, next, if you've been watching my channel, you'll know that I love PSP games. So I had to pick up some PSP games at the convention. So first we'll start with Silent Hill Origins. I love the Silent Hill series, I love survival horror series, so this was a no-brainer. I have the Silent Hill Shattered Memories, which I played. It's pretty cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to playing this. A lot of people for the Silent Hill series say they don't like the fact that you're not really focused on fighting, but I actually like that about that, and I think that this series really shined in the fact that you felt like you didn't have a one-up, so you were always constantly nervous and on the run, and I really like that about this series because it's supposed to be survival horror, and in survival horror, in my opinion, you're not really supposed to have the advantage. So I really like the fact that you really don't have an advantage in a lot of the Silent Hill games. Okay, so next we'll get to Legend of Heroes, Trials in the Sky, or Trails in the Sky. Heard it's an excellent RPG. You'll see that there's $25 sticker on there. I actually traded some games for this game and Silent Hill, so I didn't actually end up paying for Silent Hill or this game. I traded other games that I didn't really want, so that was a bonus. That's another good thing about Too Many Games 2017, and probably last year, or since it started as well. If you have extra games, or games you don't like, or you have doubles or triples, bring them with you to these game conventions, because you can make trades with people as long as it's reasonable. Most of the trades have gone through. The trades that I did on Saturday, most of them went through. You just have to make a reasonable trade. You know, they're not going to trade a good game for a crap game. So I ended up getting this in Silent Hill for free, or pretty much for free, because the games I traded I got for free. So that was pretty sweet. This is a fun RPG, I heard. I've never played it, so I'm interested in playing it. I love JRPGs, turn-based combat. I'm a huge fan, so I can't wait to play that. Alright, next we have another JRPG, Lunar. This one I did pay for, but it wasn't too bad of a price, so I had to pick it up, and looks like a really fun game. I can't wait to play this. Another fun RPG. I love JRPGs. Alright, next we have a Dreamcast Essential, and that is Skies of Arcadia. Another fun JRPG, and a fan favorite. Also pretty expensive now. It's going between $60 and $75. I saw it on the show floor. Ended up getting it for around $70, I think. But I really wanted it. And the funny thing is, I ended up getting a second copy of this the next day. So we went to Too Many Games on Saturday, and I ended up getting another copy of this on Sunday for pretty much nothing. So I was kind of like bummed out because I paid retail for this, and then it ended up getting it the next day for pretty much next to nothing. I sold some of that massive haul that I made a video on. I traded some of that for this, so at least now I have 2 copies of it, so that's pretty sweet. Can't wait to play it. That's the next game me and my brother are going to play through. We just beat Grandia Extreme. I'll talk about that another time. Next we have not the craziest game, but I ended up getting this for $5, even though it says $8, and it's Ready to Rumble Boxing for Dreamcast. Didn't have it. It's one of those games that's like a must-have if you have a Dreamcast, because it just was a big hit when it came out, so I figured I'd pick it up. Another game I ended up getting for $5 is NFL Blitz 2000, and just another Dreamcast Essential, just a fun, arcade football game where you can do like body slams and stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to play that. A really fun game. Next, 2 games that I got when I traded for the other copy of Skies of Arcadia. I ended up trading the Super Nintendo and some games like Mario Paint, and Aladdin. I ended up trading those for Grandia 2, Skies of Arcadia, and NFL 2K, the first football game on Dreamcast that wasn't, a Madden. And then, from what I've researched, the first RPG made for the Dreamcast, Evolution, The World of Sacred Device. It's made by Ubisoft, the same company that made Grandia 2. It looks and feels a lot like that. I like that it's kind of similar but very different. But when you first play this, you will get some feelings of Grandia 2 in there, like how your party trails behind you as you walk around. You see the enemies on the screen and stuff like that. Very similar. Alright, next we got Kid Chameleon. My brother had picked this up on an internet deal, and he already had a copy, so he gave me a copy. The only problem is this doesn't have the instruction manual, but I plan on ordering that through eBay to complete that, because I don't like having incomplete Sega games. Next we have Decap Attack. Got this at the convention. Heard it's a fun game, so it wasn't that expensive. I figured I might as well pick it up and give it a try. Looks like a fun, kind of goofy platformer, so be interesting to see. Alright, next we have Golden Axe 2. Got this complete at the convention. Not a terrible price, so I figured I'd pick it up. I really want to have both the Golden Axe games. I have the Golden Axe arcade cabinet, which is really sweet, but I also want the Sega Genesis version. And then I got Golden Axe, the original, for Sega, and that was at Too Many Games as well. So that was really sweet. Next, a game I've really wanted for a long time, but I just never wanted to pitch the money for. Ended up getting it for a really good price, because I bundled it with the game after that I'll show. But General Chaos for Sega Genesis, a fun, like, military type squad based game, where basically you have a squad of soldiers and you fight each other. There's a blue team and a red team, and it's just pretty much destruction and carnage. You have a guy who throws dynamite, you have a guy with a flamethrower, a guy with a machine gun. Just a really fun game. It's a lot better to play with a second player, just because of the mayhem and carnage. You can either play on the same team or against each other, I believe. It's just a really fun game. I used to love picking the dynamite guy and just like sneaking around and chucking dynamite behind barricades and stuff and just blowing people up. It was really a fun game, and I believe it's a must-have if you have a Sega Genesis. And I bundled that with another Sega Genesis heavy hitter, and that's Mutant League Football. Definitely a fan favorite and a classic and a must-have for Sega. It's been going up in price, so to get this in a good deal with General Chaos, because I bundled them together, was definitely really awesome at Too Many Games. And this one, not much to say about it. It's just a crazy football game with a lot of gore and funny plays. Like one play, you can send your whole team to kill the referee, and you just play as like aliens and skeletons and monsters, and just a really fun game to play. Single player or multiplayer, it's fun. Alright, next we have Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. I got this. What had happened is I went to one of the booths at the convention and I saw the manual for this, just the manual. And for some reason something said in my head, I don't have this game, and I always see this without the manual for some reason in my area. So I was like, I might as well buy the manual. It was only like $2 or $3. So I bought the manual, and the very next booth, I found this game without the manual for a good price, and I instantly bought it because I was like, I'll just throw the manual that I just bought into this. Now I have it complete. This is a great game. I know Super Street Fighter is really sweet, but I like this one better. I don't know why, but I just like, this is like classic Street Fighter right here. Before they added, Cammy and DJ and all those. So, definitely a good find. And then lastly, we have Rocket Knight Adventure. I bought this off of some kid on Facebook Marketplace, or on the Facebook group that I'm in for gaming in my area. So he had it for a really good price, so I picked it up. I was like, I have to have this. And met him last night, picked it up. This weekend has been a great weekend for me as far as adding to my collection and not spending an arm and a leg to do so. As I said, I traded the Super Nintendo from my lot, which I already recouped all my money from before that. So that was just bonus stuff that I had. So what I did was, this lady wanted to get more kid-appropriate games for her son. She had the Skies of Arcadia and Grandia 2 posted on my game group on Facebook, and I messaged her. I said, hey, I've got awesome stuff for your son, who I think her son was like 8 years old. More kid-appropriate games, Super Mario World, Aladdin, Mario Paint, and some other games, I think Kirby's Avalanche, and the Super Nintendo. I said, I'll trade you straight up for the Dreamcast games. She said, okay, good deal, and I traded that away. It was just bonus stuff that I had that I was holding on to, and I ended up getting stuff that I really wanted. Like I said, Skies of Arcadia and Grandia 2 I already own, so I gave them to my brother, so he has them in his collection now. So just a really good weekend for me. Got some heavy hitters, both Golden Axes, Kid Chameleon, which I'll complete within the next week. General Chaos, Mutant League Football, which I bundled together, got a better deal. Got the Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Rocket Knight Adventure. Got Skies of Arcadia for myself. What else? I got the PSP games, 2 good RPGs, and the Silent Hill game, and the wrestling game that I want to play. I'm definitely playing tomorrow. So, really awesome time at Too Many Games. And if you have not been, I highly recommend you mark on your calendar for next year. It'll probably be in the same time period at the end of June. And you definitely should check it out if you're into retro game and game collecting. You will most likely find what you're looking for there. I'm sure they didn't have every game, but they had pretty close to it. I mean, I saw copies of things that I barely ever see, so it's just a really fun time. My brother ended up getting some heavy hitters as well. Maybe I'll do another video with him, and he can show you what he got, but he got some good ones too. And it was just a fun time walking around, seeing a whole bunch of like-minded people that were into video games and retro game collecting, being able to talk about stuff. I actually learned a few things and was able to spot things that I want to look at in the future, like custom game cases. There was a stand there that had some sweet custom game cases, and I want to get some made for my Super Nintendo games, because I don't really care about having complete Super Nintendo stuff. I'm not huge into Nintendo. I appreciate it, but just Nintendo, just for some reason, doesn't do it for me. I was always a Sega Genesis kid, Sega Dreamcast, all that stuff, Sega Game Gear, Nomad. That was me growing up. So, so that was pretty much all. And I'll leave you with that. Definitely check out Too Many Games next year, 2018. I will be there. You should be too. One love.